Yo, what's going on? Your boy's at it again. Drams on deck. Today, we have a bourbon review. We have the Henry McKenna single barrel 10-year in bond. Now, this particular one, as you can see, is on its last leg. So I figured I'd go ahead and do a review of it prior to making it a memory. And also, the reason why I got this particular bottle was because this one, actually, believe it or not, this little bottle right here, 2019 won the San Francisco Whiskey of the Year award. Now, to me, when you win Whiskey of the Year award, especially that's a very well-known, prestigious American whiskey award. So in order to win that award, I would imagine that I like to be fair-minded and think that the judging was fair, meaning that everything was blind. So the judge is not supposed to know about what whiskey it is, the brand, et cetera, et cetera. Only thing they may know is, hey, this may be a bourbon, or this may be, they may know it's a bourbon or a scotch or something like that. Outside of that, they don't know anything else. So it's supposed to be completely, totally blind, and it's supposed to be a panel judge, and they just, have their own expert opinion. And I guess they also judge on different criteria like the price range, taste, consistency, complexity, probably the nose, all the finish, all that stuff. So I think, and also price is a factor in that as well. So they also noted that there are only 2 bourbons that have ever won that San Francisco Whiskey of the Year. It's only been going on since 2000. So now we're in the year 2020. So basically for 20 years, there's only been 2 bourbons in 20 years that ever win the award. And that's this last year. And they said it was, I believe, in 2008, rather, it was Heaven Hill's, what was it, the Heritage, Parker's Heritage, made by Heaven Hill, 27 year. So that was in 2008. So Parker's Heritage, 27-year-old, and this one in 2019, previous was 2008. So in 20 years, you can, so that pretty much tells you that bourbons doesn't really win as much. In my personal opinion, that's just me, I believe that, I like all whiskey, whether it's, foreign, domestic, or whatever. But I personally believe that Scotch, to me, is a little bit more complex than most bourbons. That's just my personal opinion. That's just my opinion. Be it as it may, I think taste is subjective, and some people have their different opinions, and that's fine. And even when I do drink bourbons, I must admit that I prefer wheated bourbons over rye bourbons. This right here is a rye bourbon. I prefer wheated. Wheated to me is more sweeter to me. The ryes have more spice to it. The wheated ones, like I said, have a little more sweeter finish, and it's more soft, delicate. And that's just a matter of my particular taste profile. There are people who love rye bourbons and so forth. And like I said, I haven't had a rye bourbon that I would say, oh my God, I fell in love with. But this one, this mash bill consists of like 77% of corn, and then the other highest percentage will be rye. So for me, that's just a matter of preference. But I bought this bottle actually for I want to say, was it 60 or 70 bucks? I bought it for. I got it multiple bottles. This was like almost a throw-in, so we'll just say 70 bucks I got it for. Before it won the actual award years ago, I was told that this particular bottle, they changed it. Now it has if you can look at it now, it has a cork in it. But years ago, it had just a twist top. And like years ago, 3-4 years ago, prior to winning San Francisco Whiskey of the Year, this particular one was only $30. So now I've actually seen it here in San Diego area, in some places around $100 almost. So that's a big hike increase, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, even in, if you're talking about some of the chain stores who don't hike their prices up like private owners do, even them, I think this usually going around $60 or $70 then. So it used to be $35, now it's sitting around at least $60, $70. So that's a big hike. So since it won the award, it's definitely had a lot more notoriety. So because of that, I said, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. Because I definitely wanted to see what a bourbon that won. If you look at it, it doesn't look complex at all. It looks very common. I'm curious to know what in the world can make this particular looking bottle and this particular bourbon, win the Whiskey of the Year award. If we talk about press or prestige wise, prior to this, it's not a bourbon that I pretty much heard much about. You know, a lot of times, you know, you hear of other bourbons that are well more known than Henry McKenna. So I just kind of piqued my curiosity. I have my opinion. I'm going to taste. I'm going to give you my true opinion in just a second. But the 2019 Whiskey of the Year award in San Francisco is what brought me to this bottle. So this is, I've had this bottle probably a month ago, a little bit of a month ago, and I've been drinking it and getting it down. So we're gonna go right here on the nose, taste, score it, and we're gonna go jump right into it. I'm not picking up much on the nose right now. I don't know if it's just my nose or if it's just that, I don't know, but I'm not picking up much flavors in the nose. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you I smell something that I really don't smell. So right now, I smell just a hint of a spice. I don't know what the spice could be. Whether it's, you know, nutmeg, it's definitely not cinnamon or anything, but I have a very small, faint hint of a spice is all I'm picking up on the nose. So nothing else is really coming up. I don't know if it's because this glass is fresh out the freezer. It's very chilled. I don't know if that has anything to do with ingredients or whatnot, or it could just be my nose. But right now, on the nose, I'm picking up just a hint of sweetness too. Now I'm picking up a little bit of sweetness, but just a little bit of spice and just a little bit of sweetness I'm picking up. But nothing major, nothing to be nosing this for 2-3 minutes for. It's nothing interesting. Let me just say that nothing special on the nose so far. Just a little bit faint hits, nothing strong or prevalent, but just faint hits of, like I said, a little bit of spice and a little bit of some sweetness to it. But anyway, you saw me pour this a couple minutes ago. We're gonna go right in on the palate. That's the first one. I'm gonna jump right in on the second sip. The first one normally coats your palate, so in the second one, the flavors get to be more pronounced for me. So, one more sip. To be honest, you can definitely taste the spice on it. I get like a little hint of like a wood, like an oak. A little bit of spice, like a peppery spice to it. But just a faint on the pepper. But the wood spice is very prevalent. Hint of pepper. And I get just a little bit of sweetness, but the sweetness is turned down. So it's not as sweet as like I have a Maker's Mark here. Definitely nowhere near the sweet range as a Maker's Mark. Just using that for example. Sweetness is very faint. So much so that I really can't tell you if it's syrup or sugar or honey. It's a very faint hint of sweetness, very faint. You get a little bit of pepper. You definitely get the oak flavor. I mean, all that oak and that spice of that rye is kind of seeping in there. When I first goes in, I really just get no major flavors until it hits my mid palate, and then once I swirl around, that's when I start to pick up the oak first and foremost, and then the spice of the pepper will come in. I'm gonna take one more sip. Finish is kind of short, but that's what I pick up. Oak, a little bit of pepper, that rice spice, and very, very, very faint hint of sweetness, very faint. I only get the sweetness on the finish, which is, like I said, it's kind of short. But it's not as viscous as some other whiskeys I've had, But all in all, if I have to rate this 1 out of 10, 10 being the best. Keep in mind, I'm not necessarily a rye whiskey guy, but um, if I had to rate this, me personally, I'm just going to just eliminate the price for a second because the price is not that bad. Um, just on taste alone, just keep in mind, this is just from my personal taste buds. I would give this a 6 out of a 10, which is average. And for me, I think that was the one thing that drew me to this bottle to say, okay, I want to see what it tastes like. What does whiskey of the year taste like from a bourbon? And to be honest with you, I demand a damn recount because that 2019 pound, I don't know who judged, and I'm sure they know have a eons amount of experience in this, but I don't know if it was. To me, there's no way in the hell, in my opinion, this could have won 2019 whiskey of the year. To me, this is not even the best bourbon I've had, let alone the best whiskey. You factor in Japanese whiskey, Scotch, and even other bourbons. There's other bourbons who, in my opinion, like, for example, I have a Booker's here. I think that's better. I have right behind me a Heaven's Hill, which Parker's Heritage. That's better, in my opinion, So, even Stag. I mean, I can't imagine how in the world. Only way I can see this winning Whiskey of the Year award if you factor in price. The price would have to have been a huge factor, but then again, if this was a total blind tasting, then I guess they would have not known that. But I mean, if you factor in, say, people who are rye bourbon fans, they may have a love affection for this, and then they say, well, it's only $30, so it's unbeatable. But to me, there is no way in the blue hell that this Henry McKenna. If we're talking about taste, let's not even worry about presentation. Let's not worry about the price or even availability. If we only leave this at taste alone, if you blindfolded me and gave me this bourbon versus those 2 or 3 I just named to you, and and we don't even get to all like just the other scotches. I mean, there is no way in the blue hell on my taste buds that this would have ever won Whiskey of the Year. It wouldn't even won Bourbon of the Year, let alone Whiskey of the Year. And I'm not saying this to say that this is a bad product. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's nowhere near the top tier. That's all I'm saying, in my personal opinion. I'm sure this is not even the best tasting rye. I've had other whiskeys that may have more rye mash bill. I probably like just as much of this, I would say. Now, keep in mind, I try to stay away from the ryes because it's not my preference. And like I said, this is not a bad. So let me make that very clear. This is not a terrible whiskey. To me, it's just not great. So it's kind of mid shelf. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not terribly expensive. It's not, it's not gonna break your wallet per se. But if we're just talking about taste wise, there's no way. There's no way, for me, that this would have won Whiskey of the Year. Now, I don't know who did the judging. I don't know if they got paid off, or maybe they just had a love affection for a particular rye. I don't know. If they do, kudos to them. But like I said, it's okay. It's nothing special. And then, truth be told, this, and if you look at my channel, I tell you, when you buy certain things, I tell you, please don't mix it. Please don't do that. Don't put, ice in it. Don't water it down too much, and don't mix it. But this shit right here, I would mix this. I swear I would. I would put this, if I had a party over here and I had this on the table, I would offer this to my guests. Like if I had some of my other bourbons or even my other whiskeys, like for example, I know, spoiler alert, I did, I bought this not too long ago the other day. This is a Cavalon. Things like this, I would never, ever, ever, ever mix. But this, I would mix this. If someone mixes, I wouldn't have a problem. I would tell them, go right ahead. I will pass them the cola and let them go for themselves. If I gave them something like a Yamasaki or an upper echelon Macallan or a Balvenie, I would snatch it out of their hand. Like, what are you doing? But that's just me per preference. Like I said, to me, it's okay. Whiskey of the Year, hell no. But that's my personal opinion. I'm sure people who have had a lot of bourbons in their life, and such as myself, I've had several. And to me, like I said, this is just an average bourbon to me. I don't think I really don't know how they won Bourbon of the Year. I really don't. I'm not going to try to say that it was sabotage or was some collusion in there, because I don't know. I'm just saying, on taste alone, for my taste buds, it don't come close to Whiskey of the Year. 6 out of 10 for Drams. I mean, if you see it, you're in the rye, it's not a bad one. It's not a bad whiskey. It's doable. But there are far better Drams out there. And it boggles my mind how in the blue hell this even could have made it to the finals, let alone Whiskey of the Year. That's crazy to me. So to me, when I hear so nowadays, if this going whiskey of the year, in my mind, when I see bottles that win certain awards, in my mind, I have to take it with like a grain of salt. Like, okay, that's their opinion, but that might not be my opinion. Just for example, to me, this may be a 6. To you, if you ever had this before, you may think it's an 8 or even 10. I mean, if you think it's a 10, then my opinion is you someone who maybe never had that many whiskeys before. If you only had maybe 2 or 3 whiskeys, there are some people, believe it or not, who don't try very many things. They may try 1 or 2 or 3 things, find something that they like, and they stick with that. And to them, that's the best shit they've ever had. To this day, there's a friend of my aunt's who thinks that Chevy's Regal is the best whiskey in the fucking world. Now, in my opinion, she's ludicrous. But when I asked her how many whiskeys have you really had, or scotches and stuff like, not as many. So to me, sometimes when you only lock yourself into one thing, and that's your taste buds get accustomed to a certain thing that you like, and if you don't try to think outside of what you already know, then in your mind that there's nothing else because that's all that you do. So I'm not saying that's the case with the judges, but I'm just saying, but if someone thinks that this is a 10 out of 10, then in my opinion, I guess my next question would be, well, how many bourbons have you had? Even in this taste wheel, like to me, like I said, rye is necessarily not my first taste wheel. But if we just put it, if you get all the rye bourbons out there, all the bigger ones like the Bookers and all the other Heaven Hills and the Jim Beams and all the ones you want to get, and you put them against this, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of bourbons that's going to beat this other box. So if this is a 10 out of 10 to you, then my question would be, how many whiskeys have you had? Because I would assume, I don't know, but I would assume you probably not have had a lot. And if you do, then hey, there's always one. I hate pickle juice. People who drink that shit like it's water. So there's always going to be a separate, but it's subjective. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying don't go out and buy this. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying to me it's average, nothing special. But always form your own opinion. To me, it's not the best bourbon. It's not even the best rye bourbon. So that's just Drams' opinion. But please form your own, and it's okay to disagree if you feel differently. But if someone thinks it's a 10 out of 10, then I would imagine they probably haven't had that many different rye bourbons. Because if that's the case, then I would like to think that that there's a lot more that tastes better, at least in my opinion, than this. Be that as it may, please check it out if you do see it. If it's at a good price, I would say check it out. When we see that at a restaurant, form your own opinion about it. Let me know. Hit me in the comment box, and we can talk about it. But yeah, for me, average bourbon, man. Nothing special about it. Would I buy it again? No, I would not buy this again. It's a one-time purchase for me. I just wanted to get the experience and see what it tastes like. Now I know I'm not impressed, but it's still I'm not gonna side note it. If you see it, give it a shot and form your own opinion if you have not already had it. Till then, I got some more heat coming for y'all. Please stay tuned. Drams on deck.